Good morning. Good morning, good morning. How is everyone? Jessie has decided that something is behind or around the shed. And she's desperate to get it. Or maybe under the shed. But she goes from one end to the other end to the other end. And she's like, something is there. I know it is. I know it is. But there's nothing there. I don't think there's anything there. But she is just absolutely obsessed. So today we're going to do these little guys here. You need two colors. One color for the little bulbs here, these three guys, and then one color for the greenery. So I'm going to use this really dark blue that I've just pulled out and then find a nice color that goes with that. But I want a color that's going to like stick out a little bit, you know? You don't want it to just like blend in with everything else. So I might go with these two because I used this one over here, but like a dark green maybe. I'll stick with these two and we'll see. So good morning. So with this one, we're going to do just a straight stitch, but we're going to do a lot of them in a row to make it like a bump like this. So actually, oh gosh, I didn't put my Band-Aid on. I'm sorry, guys. It's not so bad. Oh, sorry. I'm really sorry. I don't have any Band-Aids near me. Oh, I've got some tape here. I'll put some surgical tape on it. I wouldn't mind, except for it's like cracked open and it looks disgusting. I'll just tape it up. I'm like such an athlete taping up my thumb. There we go. Okay, so what's going to happen is it's going to be like a hump like this on the top of your embroidery. So let's zoom in. We're going to do all 6 strands. And obviously, you can do something else if you want to. If you wanted to fill it with French knots, you could. If you wanted to, do something else, just like a nice plain satin stitch, that's fine too. Do what you want to do, you know? But we're going to do this one. So what's going to happen is you're just going to keep doing straight stitches. And the more that you do on top of each other, they're going to make, woo. Sorry, I've given you all like whiplash almost. They're going to make like a little hump. So we're going to go like this. Now I'm trying to get them on top of each other. The first couple are going to go next to because I've got that knot on the back. We're just going to keep going. Now, obviously, if you want to fill in like the whole shape, then you could do the same thing next to. I've just pulled the fuzzies back because I left a long tail. Not that one. All I'm doing is pulling out the threads that I've sucked in because I didn't cut that short enough. I thought, oh, it'll be fine. There's still just a couple in there. So yeah, make sure that you cut them short. Otherwise, you'll have what I have happen. So yeah, you can move them over a little bit, and you're still gonna wanna keep that straight over, you know, to make it really nice and humped up. Nice and thick. And actually for all of these, I've gone through the same bottom hole, and you can tell that it's getting a bit congested down there. Why didn't I just cut it the first time? When I said, you know, when I said, oh, maybe I should cut that. Why didn't I do that? So this is kind of what you're gonna look like, what it's gonna look like. Is a bunch of threads all on top of each other, and they make like a little bulb like that. And then you can manipulate how thick or wide or round or bumped up you want it to be. Yeah. You could also do more than 6 strands. You could do 12 strands, and then that way it would really make it thick there. I'm just gonna keep having this problem, aren't I? Until I cut them all. Oh well, I'm done with that one anyways. So there's that. Okay. I'm just gonna jump over here and do the same thing with this one. Normally I don't like jumping like this with dark, oh my gosh. What is going on? With dark colors, because you can see them through the fabric. But for this, I think it'll be fine. Oh, Kim said, I haven't done any of this week's yet. Too busy writing assessments for uni. Maybe I'm also subconsciously not wanting it to end. You guys, I've already had a lot of people asking when the next one is, like messages in my Etsy shop, and then messages on Instagram here. I haven't even thought about it. I know the last 2 were really close together because of the, you know, the situation. I'm so tired of, that's like all the news is about, you know? It makes me sad though, because some people are like, you know, in the hospital and they don't get to escape it, where we get to just turn it off. And that makes me feel kind of sad sometimes when you think about it like that, you know? Like we're saying like, oh, we're so tired of this, and we're so tired of staying at home. Well, I bet they're tired of being on a ventilator too. So obviously the more that you pull, the more that your fabric is going to go down. Like you saw, I got some bumps in there where the fabric was not as tight as it should be. I'm just going to add 1 on each side. Oh, she's going after birds now. Okay, and then I'm just gonna jump down to here. You can you can add more here if you want to. You can see that they're really humped up off of the fabric, almost as tall as these ones here. I think it adds a nice little texture. But yeah, you can add more if you want to. I've only just done 3 here because I didn't know, whilst you're transferring your pattern onto the fabric, sometimes the more detailed it is, the more crazy it looks, you know? And it's a little bit hard to get all those details in the right space. So I've left a lot of space where you can do your own thing and add your own stuff. So that's kind of around this area where there is more space that you can add more things. But also, if your house is a little bit wonky because when you manipulated your thread here, it's like, you know, made your house go a little funny. Apparently manipulated is the word of the day. So yeah, you can add some more leaves there. You can add some more of these little ball beds. Other places, you could make one over here. You could make one over here. You could even like take out a leaf and put one down here if you wanted. Jesse? We have like a little lattice. It's like a really flimsy lattice, like on the side of the shed. She keeps sticking her entire face in there. I'm just gonna break it. She's convinced something's back there though. There must be something. Maybe like a mouse or like a, I don't know. There must be something though, you know? Because she's like going mental. Okay, I'm just gonna tighten this up a little bit around the edge. Tighten some more here. Now, obviously, the more times that you go through that same hole, the bigger that the hole is gonna get. I don't mean it to sound like this, but that's just a fact of the matter by working with the fabric like that. So just be a little bit conscious of that. And then if you have to move them over, so if you see, I've actually kind of started moving mine out and over because this one right here, I've gone through the exact same hole every time. And as that hole gets bigger, the fabric weave gets bigger, and then you can see it starts to get that, it almost looks like a tear, even though it's not. It's just that fabric stretching. Yeah. So there is that. And then we'll use, I already picked that other color, but now I feel like I've used it. So like, I don't really want to use it again, you know, but I've already used like all the greens. I didn't use this one. That's a nice bright color. So for this one here, you can do, whichever stitches that you'd like for the green foliage here. I should give y'all a little quiz and be like, what stitches could we use here? Which ones could we do? Obviously, you could do a detached chain stitch like this one down here. You could do just the straight stitches in the same hole, like these ones, how we just did all the straight stitches to fill in the shape, but using the same hole at the bottom because it has that same shape. You could do just a straight satin stitch and fill in each of these little ones. It just depends on what you like. I'm going to actually use 4 strands instead of 6 because I want to go really close up to this right here, and 6 strands is going to be too much. So I'm just going to take 2 out, so I'm left with 4. It's a quick one today, guys. David got a Fox's biscuit selection. And so that's what I had for my breakfast. I had 2 cookies, and you can literally hear my stomach rumbling because that's all I've had so far is 2 cookies. They're good ones though. But my stomach is like, I need more than that. All right, let's just move this down a little bit. And then, so we're gonna fill in the little triangle here with just a couple straight stitches, just to fill it in, the same way that I've done before, like on these ones. Yeah, I like to do one in the center, one on each side, and then have a little look at, do I need more? Do I need less? Sometimes you need to reposition them a little bit to like make them look like you want them to look like. For these stems here, you can do long straight stitches. You could do a split stitch. You could do a stem stitch. You can do a whipped back stitch, although I wouldn't recommend that because you have to go under each of the stitches. Yeah, and it's a little bit congested up in here. So I wouldn't recommend that one necessarily, but you could if you wanted. You could even do a brick stitch with less strands, and it would give a nice little texture over here. So you don't always have to do what I do, you know? Have a little think about how you want yours to look like. Do you want it to look, you know, a certain kind of way? We already have a lot of stem stitch over here already. So if you noticed, we've got this one, which I think is either stem stitch or whipped back stitch. I think it's whipped back stitch. And then this one here is stem stitch. So maybe just a nice straight stitch would be good. And then obviously because this right here is curving and curving and curving, I would do a straight stitch until each of the next elements come. Do you know what I mean? So if we did a straight stitch, well, I can't show you, but if we did a straight stitch all the way down, it would just be a straight line, right? But if we did it from here, right, yeah, to here, and then from here to here, and then from here to here, it would give the illusion that it's actually curving. So that's what I'm going to do and see how it looks, and if I want to change it later. So I'll do all of these stems first. Yeah, so now it's just like a gradual little curve there. Let's hop down here. But this is where, I mean, we're almost to the end of the stitch along. You guys will learn, I'll say a shed load. I hope you know what that means, of stitches. So this is the time where it's your turn to start thinking, what do I want to put here? What do I want my, you know, my pattern to look like? How do I want to do my flowers? Because at the end of the day, this is just a suggestion, and that's why I've written in all of my patterns as well, is that it's just a suggestion, this is. So this is just how I'm doing it. Of course, if you think, oh, do you know what would look great here? Something else. Then do it. Try. Because it's literally the only way that you're gonna, you know, find out if you like it or not, is just to try. So before I go over here, I'm just gonna do these leaves. If you wanted to do the detached chain stitch, you could do that and make a little loop like that on the side. Yeah, you could fill them in straight if you wanted to. I think I'm going to do some loops, the detached chain stitch, but I might do something in the background maybe or something, I don't know. Because I want to do something to make it go over here just a little bit. Yeah, so I'm going to do it like this. And I'm going to do one stitch in the middle to fill it in. My stomach is making all kinds of noises, guys. Crazy town. So all I've done is the detached chain stitch. I've done just one stitch in the middle to fill that gap in. So I'll show you again because I kind of just did it and didn't say how I did it, you know? So the same as we did before with the detached chain stitch. This one I'm just going to tuck up under there. Put that on the other side. That dog barking is our next door neighbor's dog called Maya. She's so lovely. And we're just going to put one straight stitch inside of there. And that just fills it in a little bit. More cookies. Do you please show the whole piece of art at the beginning and at the end? I zoom out so you can have a look at the whole thing. And then whilst we're over here, I'm just gonna do this stem right here. Now this is a good time as well that if you want to, like I said, add more things, then add more things, you know? If you wanna do a couple more little just stems with leaves on instead of the actual like flowers and petals attached, do that as well. The good thing with this pattern is that you can't really like make it too much because it's basically a house filled with flowers all around it. Yeah. So it doesn't really, can't ruin it. I mean, unless you made too many that are like completely overlapping so you can't see them anymore. I think that might be the only way, you know? But even then, I bet it would look really pretty. Okay, and let's go over here and do this last one. Now, the only thing you really have to remember with this is that where the flowers start and stop, you kind of have to keep those how they are, you know? Otherwise, you're going to have a floating flower. So, like with this one here, you want to make sure that this is almost touching, you know? Just because we can't have a floating flower. We just can't be doing it. So yeah, this is where you could come over here and even do a couple more little guys. If you wanted to. Yeah, it's in the air. Something I would love to see is how to effectively fill a space with flowers, no gaps, and looks nice rather than cluttered. Spacing is a major issue on my own work. I think some of it is just with practice. It is hard to fill spaces. Where am I going? Oh, here we go. And not make it look cluttered. I would say you're probably going to, let's do like into here. You're probably going to have like one of two things happen, or one of two layouts, I'll say. Yeah, so there's just like a little guy hanging out there if you want to have another little guy there, with no flowers, I mean. Yeah. So you're going to have one of two things happen. You're either going to have them evenly spaced out. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head how I can put a leaf here because I want to cover that up, but I don't want it to be too like crazy looking, you know? Maybe I'll do like something like this. Okay. Okay, so you're going to have one of two things happen. I know, I'm trying to cover this little thing up right here. That's why I'm thinking, but then also talking. So in your work, if you find that you're getting them too cluttered, you can either do a little overlapping rule. So if you can see in this one, almost every single flower is overlapping with another element, but they're also spaced out in a way that there's not too many colorful flowers or too many green things all in one area, so that the colors a little bit dotted around, but also the green leaves are also dotted around. So that's one way to do it, is to make them just overlap a little bit and then give that flower some space to breathe around. The other way is to have nothing touching. So almost like this one. Okay, some things are touching, yeah, but most things are not touching. So they have a space around them, and none of the space is more space than any of the other spaces. So that sounds a little bit crazy, but it just means that there's an equal amount of negative space where there's nothing dotted around most of the flowers. So when you look at it, you think it's like cohesive, you know? The other way is to have everything overlapping and to have like everything almost hidden. So I guess it just depends on what you like. Yeah? Okay, so let's see if I can do this. I want to do a leaf here. Maybe I'll do a leaf here and go like that, and do a little one there maybe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I really want to cover that though, because it's one of the things that I did not like about my own embroidery pattern. House, not the pattern, the house. Now I've got 4 strands here. You could do less if you wanted, or you could do more if you wanted. Just depends on, like I said, what you like. Let's see here. I don't want it to be like too big because you don't want it to be like a huge guy taking over, you know? Technically, I should do this on Details Day, but we're here, so we've already done it. Okay, and let's go back up here and then down. Tuck that in. I'll do just a little one there. Details Day is Friday, and that's the other day that we're going to also close up the back of the hoop, and I'll show you how to display it. I think that's pretty effective. So there we go. I will say that I've got one going this way, one going this way, and one going this way. So it's these kind of little things that I should probably just do a whole live about, like how to make a pattern and like how to like do your work, you know, how to plan your work or something like that. I will say though, that some things that bother me might not bother you, and some things that bother you might not bother me. So when I say things like, oh, you can't have these two things together, or oh, watch out for that, or oh, this is like not right. To you, you might say, I think it looks great. So I don't know what you're on about, but it looks good to me. That's okay. That's all right. It's just sometimes you have little things about you that you're like, ooh, that's too much like that. So for me, this right here is like much better, because even though I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, like they look like check marks to me now, it's still better than, you know, having it how it was before. So let's just tie these in a knot And really that's it for today. Don't get too carried away. Don't get too crazy with your leaves. You could also do less strands and more leaves, or you could do more strands and less leaves, because you really don't want it to be like too much, you know? If I wanted to, I could even fill in some of these areas because now they're looking a little bit empty. But again, that's up to you. You could even do the grass in here. Good morning, George. Happy birthday. So there you go. That's what we've done for today. You nearly missed it. So that's what we've done for today. Tomorrow is Thursday, and we'll finish this one, this big guy. And then Friday, we'll do all of the details. So anything else that you need to do, so filling in all these little guys, I'll do some beforehand and then show you some other things you can do, like adding different details in your leaves, or petals, in your leaves, and some little filler stitches that you can tuck in here if you want to. Jesse's just seen a pigeon in the backyard, so this should be great. And then I'll show you how to finish the back of your hoop and what to do with all of this extra fabric. Don't forget to go to the Brownie Fox SAL and like and comment on other people's work. I cannot tell you how happy it makes me. You have no idea. If you go to my stories, I have 2 new kits, but the colors are just a little bit, they're not as spot on as I would have liked if I would have gone to the store and picked them. But the shops are closed still, so I took a chance, and I've got a lot of threads for it. Oh my God, this could go totally wrong. The pigeon is now on the grass in the backyard, like 10 feet from Jesse. Oh God, please don't eat that bird. Oh, stressed. So yeah, if you could go to my stories and have a look, it's this one and this one. And if it's a no for both, I'm just going to put the colors together and come up with 2 new kits. I might do that anyways. So maybe do like a half as many of these and half as many of these, and then mix up the colors and then come up with a new couple kits. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. You know what I'm like, I'm just indecisive all the time. So, oh, the pigeons fought each other and flew away. So there you go. Be sure to tag me in your photos for today. I've got to sweep the floor, make some listings, pack some orders from kits that you guys got yesterday. I'm so excited. I love packing stuff. I love when you guys buy things and then I can go to the post office and give them away, you know, and be like, go on, go to your new homes. I love it so much. So thank you so much for those. And I'll talk with you tomorrow. Bye.